Shabbat shalom, brethren.
Shalom, Shabbat.
I was actually hoping that, not really hoping, I was expecting that maybe the gem will not, will stay the way it is so that I can speak without anybody seeing my face. But now I have no choice. And I now hope the gem stays on so that this will not disrupt the service of the day again. For the second split of today, I want us to consider be led by the Spirit of God as the title. Be led by the Spirit of God. Be led by the Spirit of God. Beginning from the Beyond the program that we saw earlier, we will see and we know that the time is fast approaching, and we need to be careful and we need to prepare ourselves more. Please turn to Romans 8:14. Let's start with that. That's basically what we'll be treating today. Romans 8. What? Let's start with Romans 8:14. Romans 8, verse 14. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are the sons of God. What does it mean to be led by the Spirit of God? It is when we are led by the Spirit of God that we will be the sons of God according to what we just read here. To understand what it is to be led by the Spirit of God, we must first understand what it is to be led. Led is actually gotten from lead. Another way it can come about is leadership. So let's look at what does it mean to be led by the Spirit of God. Leadership, brethren, is one of the most important things in human societies and systems. The leadership in every society determines the system and the characteristics of what happens in that society, either directly or indirectly. What I'm saying is this: with the characteristics of a leader or of the leadership will always somehow find its way into the system of the society. In sports, a team usually play either aggressively or tactically based on the traits of the leader or the coach. A violent government led by a violent leader will likely wage war the more. Sometime in the past, I was seeing some series of a movie called Vikings. Vikings were the Norsemen. Today, Norway, Sweden, and another country I've forgotten, that when the barbaric states attacked England and France continuously. But at that point, the leader in the movie, the leader determines how much they wage the war. There was a leader that was there that was laid back, and everybody was laid back. But this young man came around and said no. And somehow he became the leader, and then before you know it, he started waging wars. And I went to history and I said that it was so. So a leader will determine in a lot of ways what happens to the society. A laid-back leader will always bring a laid-back society. Buhari and Idiago in the 1980s, I think 1985 precisely, 84, 83. Thank you very much, sir. I know we have good historians in the house. I was very young then, but I knew my dad would always make reference that if you throw anything on the floor, we are going to carry it away. It was the leadership then, they were disciplinarians, and they showed it that there was no nonsense. If Nigerians fell in line, you be on the bus stop, you want to buy something, or you want to take a bus, there's a queue. Nobody will tell you. It became the norm. But somehow, what happened when the corrupt leaders came on board again? Everybody became corrupt. Jonathan, I'm sorry to say this, it sounds like I'm being political, but Jonathan's government showed a lot of loopholes and corruption in Nigeria. And it was likely because of his kind of person. He was relaxed, he was corrupt, he was, I'm not sounding judgmental, but the facts are there, that we can see it. Okay, as an example, maybe because I was living in Abuja then, I had a lot of things, I saw a lot of things. There was a firm who won the contract to train some people in a particular ministry. The contract was worth 400 million naira. The contract was worth 400 million naira. With 40 million naira, the contract to be done perfectly with MacBooks or laptops shared with people. They are not much. The people involved were not much. With 40 million naira, they will have excess. But even the 40 million naira and the 400 million naira, nothing happened. They did not do anything. Why? Because nobody will ask them. Suddenly, Buhari came around then and people were running up and down, and then this company remembered that they had a contract that they had not done, and they were running helter-skelter to do it. There are several examples which we will not go into. But the point is that the characteristics of a leader determines or trickles down into the society. Let's look at churches. Let's not go far, let's stay in Nigeria. MFM. People will shout fire, die. Why? Because the leader thinks so. Let's leave MFM. How about Christian Kilomen? The pastors and everybody in the church is now doing Jericho. Because that's what the leader does. Okay, let's leave the other Kilomen. Let's come back home. United Church of God. Okay, let me say this. I deserve my comment. Let's move on. I've been threatened already. But let's notice that when we're talking about leadership, it's different from ruling. Rulers are dictators. They will rule harshly. They will force their opinion down on us. When we're talking of leadership, leadership is different. People willingly follow leaders. Leaders are like role models. They will have influence on the people they lead. So, brethren, a leader will influence us. We, or anybody that is a follower, is usually influenced by the leader, so that there's this synchronization. There's agreement between the leader and the followers, which goes to show that a follower looks up to something in the leader, and the leader influences and controls the follower, if I could use that word. Again, let's go back to Romans 14. That's where you start from. Romans 8:14. Being led by the Spirit of God. So what leads us, brethren? What controls us? What motivates us? What influences us? What makes us tick? What brings out the best in us? What leads us? Answering this question, if I try to answer, I will be committing a fallacy, an error. Because the only person that can answer the question, honestly, is each and every single one of us, individually. So let's pause and think about it. What really makes me tick? What controls me? What leads me? Is it truly the Spirit of God? Is he our ego? Is he our money or love for money? What is it? What moves us to action? What gives us, what motivates our desire? What do we desire? Let's turn to James 1:14. Because this answer will go a long way in helping us assess ourselves, to see if we are still on track or we are falling apart. And if we are still on track, to move better, to try to remain on track. If you are falling apart, to trace our way back to the track which God has given us and to stay on it. James 1:14. For each one is tempted when he is drawn away by his own desires and enticed. So what is our desire? What entices us? Because our desire ultimately determines what leads us. At this point, before we all think to ourselves and answer that question by saying maybe I'm led by the Spirit of God or not, the correct answer to this question doesn't lie in our mouth. It lies basically in our actions. Because when someone says, I'm a child of God, and you see him outside doing something else, well, you and I will not say it. Look at the person that calls himself a child of God, because we want to sound judgmental. But then, that question is there, that comma is there. Someone who calls himself a child of God, being led by the Spirit of God, and is engaged in armed robbery, murder, abortion, all those kind of things that are bad, that the Bible specifically wants us against. So, invariably, what I'm saying is this: what leads us is not necessarily what we say leads us. It is what our desires are, it's what our actions are, it's what our decisions are. And it's not just a one-off thing. It's a sum total of all the things that we do, day in, day out. When God said in Deuteronomy that I place before you today life and death, blessing and cursing, therefore choose life that you and your descendants may live. How do we think God expects us to make this choice? Is it just by saying it in our mouths? Yes. We need to say it. We need personal conviction. But what follows this conviction? What follows it? That's what is very important. It is our everyday decision, it's our everyday actions, and we occasionally make a wrong call and a wrong decision to quickly go back to God in prayer, in being sorrowful, being sorry, and asking God for forgiveness, just like David did. Because we are humans, and there will be instances, occasions, where we will fall short of the expectations of us. To think that a one-off decision is enough is very, very misleading, and it's dangerous and it's self-delusional. You must know that the law operates when we are good to go. Does not operate when we are good to go. What I'm saying is this. I apologize, the example I'm used to, very familiar with this law, as in the law of society. I'm not talking about the Bible now, but I want to place a form of analogy so that I will understand it clearly. The law is out there. It's there everywhere, but we will not see it until something happens. And then suddenly we see this thing, I pray it doesn't happen to us, and then the handcuffs are there, then the person realizes that, oh, this law is there. We can go about saying, Nigeria is lawless, there's this thing, there's that. Yes, to an extent. To some people, they are above the law. But to everyday Nigerian, you and I, the law is there. And it's when it catches up with the person that the person will now realize that that law is there. I will give an example of a case that is going on in court. There is a lady. There are two ladies, two sisters. There is the elder one who lives in Lagos, the younger one who lives in Port Harcourt. The younger one is a nurse, is an auxiliary nurse. And she runs a maternity home. So people go there to give birth, and those who want to do abortion also go there, and she does it for them. But this lady there was this other lady, an Igbo girl, who went to this younger lady and said, you know what, I want to abort this baby, I was raped. The lady was like, no, please don't abort it, okay? It's not good to abort. Meanwhile, I have another sister who lives in Lagos who has been crying and praying to God for a baby. Why don't you just let me take care of you when you give birth to this baby, and then we'll give it to her in Lagos, and then she will be happy. Everybody is happy. You won't have to kill this innocent baby. She agreed. Okay, you know what? I'll come to your hospital. You'll take care of me. Once we have the baby, you give it to her. She has made a very good suggestion. And she now called her sister in Lagos. Sister, what? I have something for you. You've been trying to have a baby, it's not been successful, but this one, there's this girl who blah blah blah, she told her the story and said, well, you will need to pay some money. So she demanded for 600,000 naira from the other sister. And in her statements, she said, I demanded for the money because my sister is very stingy, she doesn't give me money. So I figured, okay, this is my opportunity to take my own pound of flesh because her sister is somehow a little bit comfortable. Okay, they agreed. The elder sister paid into her account over a period of time. The money was complete. The Igbo lady gave us the baby, and they sent the baby to Lagos. She got the baby, she was very happy. After 3 days or 4 days, the baby started crying. She needed a breast milk, she wasn't getting any. And she began to fall ill. This woman doesn't have any experience, she doesn't know what to do. She was trying everything possible to make sure that the baby would be okay, but she wasn't succeeding. So she called her younger sister. My sister, this baby is crying, she's running temperature, I can't handle it. So that other one being not said, okay, you know what? Bring her back to Port Harcourt, let's see what we'll do. But because the baby is crying, the other sister thought, I can't take about 10 hours trip on the road to Port Harcourt, let me go by air. In the airport or at the airport, please stop that. Madam, is this baby yours? Yes. And breastfeed her now. How is she? You know, at that point, the law caught up with her. Until that point, she did not know that what they are doing is wrong. They arrested her. Said, madam, is this baby yours? She said yes. Okay, breastfeed her, she could not. The baby was just crying and screaming and all that. So they took her to police station. From police station, they took her to NAPTIP office, the federal government agency in charge of all those kind of child trafficking and all. And before she knew it, she's in jail and she's in court. Stupidly, if I could use the word, stupidly. In her statement, they collected her statement, she said, the young elder sister said, I paid the sum of 600,000 naira to my sister to get the baby. So there's a case that is established against them of selling and buying of human being, which is a law, which is against the law, it's a criminal offense in Nigeria. Okay, until now, I know that a lot of us will not know that selling and buying of human being is a criminal offense in Nigeria. But now we know. Until that point when they stopped her at the police, at the airport, she just been hearing of courts. She had never been to courts, she had never been to police station. But now, she's very familiar with courts because the law is taking its course. The same way as this example, as Christians, there are so many things that are out there. Now, unlike this law, our civil law that will, once it catches up with you, you are stuck and then you'll be made to pay the penalty. The other one too has its own consequence, but unfortunately we don't see it immediately and we think it is not there. It is there. And the Bible is our Google map, if I could use that word, our directory. It shows us all these things. And I'm saying this because I'm bringing up a point. From the story I just mentioned, I just narrated, what ticks the younger sister? She loved money. She wanted money. She wanted to collect money. And she got the money from my elder sister. What is the elder sister's problem that makes her think she wanted a baby? They went about it the wrong way, and the law caught up with them. How about you and I? What is the sum total of our daily, hourly thoughts and actions? Is the law catching up with us? Is it not? Where is our mind focused at? What is our heart desire? Matthew 6, we all know this, but let's read it again. Matthew 6, 19 to 21. Let's read this, having at the back of our mind Romans 8:14. As many as are led by the Spirit, they are what? God called the sons of God. Matthew 6:19. Do not lay up for yourselves treasures on earth, where moth and rust destroy, and where thieves break in and steal. But lay up for yourselves treasures in heaven, where neither moth nor rust destroys, and where thieves do not break in and steal. And verse 21. For where your treasure is, there your heart will be also. Where our treasure is, that our heart will be. So goes this question. Do we have our treasures in heaven, or is it here on earth? Again, answering this question is our actions, it's by our actions. The decisions we will take is not by our thoughts, what words of our mouth. Let's go back to the Romans 8, please. Romans 8. Let's go back to Romans 8 and start from verse 1 of Romans 8. There is therefore now no condemnation to those who are in Jesus Christ, who do not walk according to the flesh, but according to the Spirit. Again, goes to show that there are some people who walk according to the flesh, and there are some who walk according to the Spirit. For the law of the Spirit of life in Jesus Christ, for the law of the Spirit of life in Jesus Christ has made me free from the law of sins and death. This is another topic for another day. It is not within what I can cover in this split. We'll drop down to verse 5. For those who live according to the flesh set their minds on the things of the flesh. For those who live according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. What are the things of the flesh? What are the things of the Spirit? You will see that this is like, it's synonymous with what we read in Matthew 6. Where your heart is, where your treasure is, there your heart will be. Those who set their mind on the things of the flesh, their mind is there. And those who set their mind on the things of the heaven, of God, their mind is there. What, again, is living according to the Spirit and what is the things of the flesh, and what are those? Who are those who live according to the Spirit? This is another very popular scripture, the Galatians 5, which I am sure we all know, except I'm wrong. And if I'm wrong, I hope I'm not. Galatians 5. And this, before we read this split is very, very important, because either like it or not, events are beginning to unfold, beginning to build, and then to get to the point that it will escalate to the point where we are very sure that Christ is around the corner, and it is even coming soon. And again, in a way, I find it difficult to, that expression, Christ is coming soon, people don't know the magnanimity of that statement. When each and every, because it's going to happen, when each and every single one of us dies, at that point, Christ has come to us individually. It is not when He comes physically, it's only those who are alive that will see Him coming, that will see Him descending. But for those of us who are alive now, if one thing happens or the other, and we die, at that point, there's no correction again, there's nothing we can do. At that point, Christ has come. And we all know that the highest is maybe 70, 80, 90 years. So when they said Christ is coming soon, just think about it in terms of how many years you are expecting to live more. For some of us, we are expecting maybe 50 years more, 60 years more, 70 years more. That's the highest. But between now and then, anything can happen. It is the reality of life. We pray that God keeps us, God helps us and maintains us, but Christ comes, and He comes quickly, and we should know that He can come at any time. Matthew 5, let's start from verse 16. I say then, Galatians 5. Galatians 5. Thank you very much, sir. I did that intentionally. I want to know if you are following. You should some people are following. Some people did not notice though. If you noticed, if you did not notice, raise up your hand. Let's be sincere, let's be truthful. Let's say, if you did not notice. Okay, Galatians 6. Galatians 5:16. Galatians 5:16. I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. If we walk in the Spirit of God, we will not fulfill the lust of the flesh. Because the two of them, they are like oil and water, they don't mix together. Now, what is it? What does it mean by the lust of the flesh? It goes on to define it. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, like I said earlier, and the Spirit against the flesh, and these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. Now the works of the flesh. So say this under the law is the topic for another discussion. I cannot really discuss it now because of some obvious instructions. Yeah, I think I need glasses. Okay, let's start from 16 again, please. I say then, walk in the Spirit, and you shall not fulfill the lust of the flesh. For the flesh lusts against the Spirit, and the Spirit against the flesh. And these are contrary to one another, so that you do not do the things that you wish. But if you are led by the Spirit, you are not under the law. 19. Now the works of the flesh are evident, which are adultery, fornication, uncleanness, lewdness, idolatry, sorcery, hatred, contentions, jealousies, outbursts of wrath, selfish ambitions, dissensions, heresies, envy, murder, drunkenness, revelries, and the like. Of which I tell you beforehand, just as I told you in the times past, that those who practice such things will not inherit the kingdom of God. The question here, or the instruction here, or the statement here, is not tentative, it's not discretionary. It's certain, will not. It's like saying shall not. It's like saying must not, can never inherit the kingdom of God. Now all those things there, they are there for us to read, understand, internalize. So that by the time we realize or we see that I'm beginning to act, not decision. There are some things that happen that we will have done it before we thought of it. But if these words, the words of the Bible, they are part of us, they are internalized, then something, God, the Spirit of God in us will tell us that you are going too far. Just stop. It happens that you are going too far. Just come back. So when we see these things, we will know. Sorcery, hatred, idolatry. Look at the word hatred. If we be sincere with ourselves, there's one person or one thing that will have this, I feel like I hate this person. We will not say it out, but deep down inside us, we know. And as harmless as hatred appears to be, it is one of the things stated here, and it's clear that anybody who engages in this will not inherit the kingdom of God. It's not by decision again, it's by our actions. Envy, murders, drunkenness. Okay, drunkenness, another thing. Have you ever been drunk? Well, for those of us who know ourselves, those who know we know, let's keep the answer to ourselves and use it to correct ourselves. Envy, murder. Particularly. Well, let me play with words a little bit here. Mr. Kiwa will come and tell us, and it is so in the Bible, that open rebuke is better than secret love. Right? Good. How about secret rebuke? Is secret rebuke better than secret love or open love?
Open love.
My point is that there's the option of secret rebuke here, and I'm saying this because the Bible, I can't really relate to it, I can't really recollect the place now. It says that if your brother offends you, go to him first. Why did the Bible say go to him first? So you try and sort it out. If he refuses, then what's the next option? Go to the others in the church. Discuss it with them. Then it is open. Let everybody come and talk about it. So, I'm saying this because in relating with one another, we cannot venture our anger against one another. I'm not, please don't misquote me, don't get me wrong. What Kimbo said is in the Bible. I'm not saying what he said is wrong. I'm just saying that in our relating with one another, let's be careful and approach one another first and sort out our grievances. Because anybody who hates or envy, it is dead. It's not led by the Spirit of God, it is by flesh. And such, as stated here, will not inherit the kingdom of God. The other part is Galatians 5:22, but the fruits of the Spirit, which is the Spirit of God, is love, joy, peace, long-suffering, kindness, goodness, faithfulness, gentleness, self-control. Because against all these things, there's no law. Against all these, there's no law. Let's go back to Romans 8, please. Let's go back to Romans 8. In our relation with one another, before we act, let us think. And we act, let's ask ourselves, am I acting right? Am I acting right? Verse 5, for those who live according to the flesh, set their minds on the things of the flesh, and for those who live according to the Spirit, the things of the Spirit. For to be carnally minded is death. Those things that we read earlier in Galatians 5:16. It is to be carnally minded, to set our minds on all those things, and it leads to death. But to be spiritually minded is life and peace. From Galatians 5:22 down is to be spirit-minded, to be led by the Spirit. So those are the fruit of the Spirit. If you are led by the Spirit of God, we will see those things in us. And this one leads to life and peace. Because the carnal mind is enmity against God, for it is subject to the law of God, nor indeed is not subject to the law of God, nor indeed can be. So then, those who are in the flesh cannot please God. Those who are in the flesh cannot please God. Let's drop down to verse 13. Verse 13. Well, let's continue reading. But you are not in flesh, but in the Spirit. If indeed the Spirit of God dwells in you, now if anyone does not have the Spirit of Christ, he is not his, he is not Christ. And if Christ is in you, the body is dead because of sin, but the Spirit is life because of righteousness. The Spirit is life because of righteousness. Which means that we must pursue righteousness earnestly in everything we do, in every step we take. We must try and strive to pursue righteousness. Verse 11, but if the Spirit of Him who raised Jesus Christ from the dead dwells in you, He who raised Christ from the dead will also give life to your mortal bodies through His Spirit who dwells in you. Through His Spirit who dwells in you. Let's drop down to verse 16. The Spirit Himself bears witness with our spirits that we are children of God. If we are children of God, we will be what? We will be led by the Spirit of God. And we will set our hearts and our actions, not just one-off thing, but continuous on the things of God. Let's not forget Matthew 6. And if children, then heirs and heirs of God, and joint heirs with Christ, if indeed we suffer with Him, that we may also be glorified together. Now, this statement holds enough, more than we can even imagine, if you look at it very well. To suffer with Christ, then we are glorified with Him. What does it mean to suffer with Christ? Now we read these questions, let's ask, okay, what does it mean to be this? What does it mean to be that? In John, almost everywhere in John, it said, you and I are one. he was referring to the disciples. Christ was praying for us, so that you all be one as I and my Father are one. We are not of this world, and so you too cannot be of this world. The thing is that things of world does not mix, does not conform with the things of God. Though we are in the world, we need to watch it. We need to be careful in our actions, in our thoughts, in our decisions towards each other, towards one another. Verse 18. For I consider that the suffering of this present time are not worthy to be compared to the glory which has been revealed in us. For the earnest expectation of the creation eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. Eagerly waits for the revealing of the sons of God. Now, what does that mean by sons of God? Sons of God are those who set their mind on the things of God. Like we read earlier in Romans 8, just a few verses earlier. For as many as are led by the Spirit of God, these are what? The sons of God. So brethren, it is not impossible, as one of us, it is very, very possible for us to go through scriptures and then just read it absent-mindedly without paying much attention to what these things quote. And they said that for as many as are led by the Spirit of God, are the sons of God. What does it mean to be the sons of God? What does it mean to be the Spirit of God? Okay, what is the opposite of Spirit of God? What does it mean? How can I align myself, my actions, my thoughts, my decisions, and my everyday life to be in line, to be attuned with the things of the Spirit of God? These are the things we should ask about ourselves. These are the things that we should think about on a daily basis. And one of the things that we need to do constantly is studying this Bible. I know we all fall short of this. We all are guilty of it at some point, one point in time or the other. When we need to leave out the house early, when we are just tired, we want to sleep, we want to see some movies, and then we choose all those other things over studying the Bible and being in tune with things of God. But again, the things of the flesh are human, they are carnal. They keep us in our comfort zone, where we want to be, where we want to relax, we want to enjoy, we want to be excited. But the things of God, they keep us away from our comfort zone because we need to be alert. Remember, watch and pray. We need to constantly watch. Constantly watch for the signs which the Bible tells us of the things that we need to see, like we said, like we saw in the broadcast before this message. And we also need to watch our own actions to be see and ask ourselves to see if we are really led by the Spirit of God. Because we need to watch lest we fall. Because the devil, like a roaring lion, moves around like a hungry lion, looking for whom to devour. And if we are not fortified, if we are not ready, if we are not at alert, if we are not behaving like Christian soldiers, we likely, I pray it doesn't happen, but it has happened in the past. It don't happen again if we fail to listen to these admonitions. But then let's take reading our Bible very seriously. Let's dedicate ourselves to this, because this is the only hope we have. It's when we fortify ourselves with the words in this Bible that we can be well equipped. There are some things that will come around, and suddenly some decisions we will make, that's not going to be a problem. It will come naturally to us. I pray and I hope that in our everyday lives, in our decisions, in everything that we do, in our relations with our friends, the people in God's church, our neighbors, our colleagues at work, the bus drivers and conductors that will get you angry and you want to ask that before we take that decision, before we make that action, we take that step, we will ask ourselves, Am I being led by the Spirit of God? This action that I want to do, does it portray me as the Son of God? Is it in line with the body, with the lust of the flesh, or is it in line with the Spirit of God? These are the questions we need to ask, because it's very crucial, it's very important.